So there's always one problem child in the bunch. And I didn't expect Britt to be a problem child. I didn't expect Terry to be a problem child. I knew Roy Sloan was going to be a problem child because you're not technologically the most advanced individual I know, Roy Sloan.
I just about live online most of the time, and I'm my security, you see. So anybody who went on that Wahine trip with me last year, as soon as they're on some call with me, my computer just flashes and locks up. It's still feeling the stress that I felt when I was taking the girls in there last year.
Dramatic.
Yeah, dramatic. Listen. I've been in the backcountry of the Fiordland with Roy Sloan too, so it's not that dramatic as he is explaining. Roy Sloan, welcome back. You're a past guest of Blood Origins. I think this is maybe your third time around or second time around. Definitely second.
Yeah, it's been a few anyway, Robbie. So 2, 3, or 4. Can't remember. Time flashes.
Yeah. Well, we're big fans of you. We're big fans of Fiordland Wapiti Foundation. We are your champions overseas from a global voice perspective in terms of what you do and what you stand for. And I keep saying that the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation, you are the gold star standard in the world for sustainable wildlife management. And it is no question why local forest and bird chapters were sending messages up to the headquarters going, what the hell are you doing? Because without Fiordland Wapiti Foundation in the Fiordland, there'd be nothing. There'd be no management. There'd be no helping of the Fio. There'd be no helping of the Kia. There'd be no helping of anything. No hut maintenance, no track maintenance. There'd be nothing. These guys do it all, and now you're telling them to get out of there. But that's not what we're talking about today. Just have to get off my soapbox for a little second. We have some exceptional guests. Britt, I apologize for not remembering you and not speaking to you whilst I was in New Zealand. I did remember your face, and I was like, I've seen her before, but I don't think I spoke very many words to her. Britt, introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, cool. My name's Britt. I actually grew up in the North Island of New Zealand. I moved down. Don't hold it against me.
I won't. I'm a big fan of the Seeker Foundation too, so that's cool.
Yeah, grew up in Tauranga.
I've just realised that. Shit.
Grew up around and in the ocean. My dad's a commercial fisherman, and Mum actually taught us duck shoot from a very young age. So I grew up around hunting and gathering. Moved down south. Was actually exposed to the Wapiti Foundation through my ex-partner as he would enter the ballot, and opened my eyes to the big world of Wapiti. And I actually put my hand up to help with some sort of marketing and social media campaign stuff that the foundation needed a hand with, promoting a Wapiti weekend that they're hosting. And I must have done a terrible job because I got asked to do some more jobs.
Well, if you did it for free, there's no such thing as a terrible job if you did it for free.
Well, that was it. But I remember actually going across the lake with some chefs from an organisation called With the Wild and Roy, and it was my first exposure to the true Fiordland. And I just remember sitting on that boat. We hadn't even got halfway across the lake, and I just could feel this energy. I can't really explain it, but there was kind of this hype. Some of these chefs were from like Auckland, urban New Zealand, and it was very eye-opening for them, and I think I was feeling that. And it was within that moment that I decided that I wanted to be a part of this organisation and what they were doing and contributing to. And we went in and had a look at some of the track lines and things, and it was just sold to me. I thought I have to be a part of this. So I actually joined as a member, and then a year later am now on the committee as the first female. So I'm pretty stoked with that, and it's hard going. But it's
hard going doing anything with Roy Sloan. Look, we all know that.
She's bloody pampered, Robbie, pampered.
Just so that people know, we've been fortunate enough, and we've released a piece on the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation. The Fiordland, as you described it, it has something else that nobody has ever seen in this world before, and it's these huge U-shaped valleys. The sides are as steep can be. You can't describe how steep they are. There's 8 meters of rain that fall in this place every single year. It's a primordial forest with monster ferns and moss everywhere and birds going, left, right, and center. If you're not careful where you camp, your camp's going to be washed away just in one downpour. And as Roy very eloquently puts it, it's the Amazon on top of the Himalayas, is how it is described. And it blew my mind as it blew yours. And Terry, is that an appropriate description of Fiordland?
100%. It's like Britt said, it's a very hard place to describe, and it's got these magical powers, I feel like, to heal your soul. Like, I can't even describe it. Like, it just, you go out there in the bush and everything seems right with the world, like it's the most amazing place. And I've seen some pretty amazing places, but
do the sandflies impart some sort of magic when they bite you?
Oh no, well, we just forget about those. You block them. You block them from your memory. You forget about it. But yeah.
Terry, introduce yourself, please.
So I'm Terry. I am born and bred South Islander. I come from a place called Balclutha originally.
Is it Southlander? Are you a Southlander or a South Islander?
South Islander. I'm a Southlander now.
Oh, okay.
But originally, from a wee place called Balclutha.
I can hear the
Born and
R's.
bred on a farm. Yeah, I've got lots of R's going on. So I just grew up good farm girl, farm town. My parents weren't really hunters as such. I didn't get into the hunting game till very much later in life, in my 20s, with my husband. He's the one that introduced me to all of this and to Tiana and everything, and that's how I ended up here. I now own a business here. I now just living and loving life. Yeah.
Brilliant. So one of the reasons why we've got Britt specifically and Terry on, and Roy for colourful commentary, I think that's what he's just going to be, is colour commentary.
That's all I do, Robbie. That's all I do.
Yep. I know. You don't have to remind me. I've had you on this podcast many times. It's like old hat at this stage. But you guys have come up with, and Britt, I'll let you lead, and Roy, please chime in here. But you guys have come up with a new program. And to be honest, I don't even know what it stands for because I don't speak New Zealand. So you've called it Wahine. I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to say Wahine Wapiti. How do you say it, Britt?
It's Wahine. So
Wahine.
Wahine is, when translated, that's the Te Reo Maori translation of woman or lady.
And why did you decide to do this? Just simply because you were the first female on the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation and had never thought about a female before this point?
That might have something to do with it, Robbie. Let's just bring some lady flavour into this. So yeah, it was about really, I think initially I'm naturally a connector anyway. I love creating, a platform or a means to get people together and share an experience, basically. So that was kind of this underlying current there. But I think, as you said, stepping onto the committee as the first and only Wahine, I saw this opportunity to say, hey, can we do something here? We've got a pretty cool platform. And as well as that, there's this kind of, I guess, thread of this being quite a male-dominated space. It's been something that I've experienced personally, and I know a lot of other ladies I've met along my journey. It's just harder to find other ladies that are interested in the same things. So basically, that was kind of the grounds to be able to do something. But then from there, it kind of evolved into, it's not really about hunting. It's actually just about getting like minds together, getting some people out there that want to do something different and actually allow access or create the space where we can access a pretty harsh part of New Zealand, backcountry, and make it accessible to people who might not be able to get in there otherwise. So it's not just about the huntresses or the people the ladies that enjoy hiking. It's actually about people that might not be exposed to those elements in their lives ever, and this is an opportunity for them as well. And it's an opportunity for all of us to come together and learn from each other, and also a bit of urban New Zealand, exposing those people to this and sharing our story in that way as well. So that's sort
Awesome.
of how it came about. Yeah,
awesome. If you would stay in that position right there when you're talking to your mic, we can hear you a lot clearer.
Great.
When you
Okay.
go back a little bit, it's a little soft.
Okay.
So Roy, what did Britt pitch to you? What did she say? Like, this is what we need? Because here, before you answer that question, I'll tell you, the explosion in the United States of women hunting programs is enormous, right? You've got Brittany Janenga, formerly Brittany Boddington, who's got a She Hunts program. Tana Grenda's got a little hunt program up in Alaska. Wild Sheep Foundation has their Woman in Hunt program. SCI now has an outdoor woman led by Denise Welker. There is certainly a recognition, and the biggest part, the reason behind all of this is that the biggest demographic of growing hunters in the United States populace is women, is female. And so there's a recognition, as you said, you're the first lady on the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation committee. There's now a recognition that, hey, it's not just all about guys. It may be a very braggadocious, male-dominated industry, but there are some great, phenomenal females that want to hunt, they want to participate, they want to be involved. So, Roy, what did Britt say to you?
Yeah, so I guess we took Britt come up to Te Anau when we had the Wapiti weekend, and of course she doesn't notice. We actually set the Fiordland trap for her. Once we set the trap and baited it with Fiordland myself, we knew that she'd be back and wanting to. Did
you say Fiordland and yourself?
Mainly myself, probably, I'd say.
Okay. Oh God.
No. So if you look at that space and if you back away from it a little bit, is that, I'd look at New Zealand, not only hunting, but sports, workplace, all of a sudden, I live in Southland, and you've looked at a predominantly male industry in farming and truck driving and everything else, and rugby and a whole lot. All of a sudden, it's been spun on its head, and there's a lot of ladies and girls coming out and starting to dominate that space as well. So it's not just hunting. And if I look at myself, I've been brought up with a family of very, very, very strong females and males who thought they were. So I coached women's rugby, have done for the last 3 years, and I have daughters and never wanted sons. I was worried they're going to turn out like me and my brothers, so it's probably one of the reasons. But no, so when Britt come along, we really connected, actually, didn't we, Britt, on our thoughts around this sort of stuff, and the other cool thing is that certainly we both are really keen at doing something different all the time. So, the Wahine thing was something a little bit different last year, and it's going to be different this year. So we're looking at trying new stuff. And the big thing about Fiordland, it's we want what the Wapiti Foundation do and what Fiordland brings to people. We want to have good equal opportunity for everybody, not just males. And what we have in Fiordland is something a little bit different, as we talked about before. And the place scares the hell out of the most aggressive, fittest males in New Zealand. And, that it's either they come back or they never come back. And so for us to work on that and Britt, to build on that for some, and I look at it as an adventure or an opportunity for people to find themselves. And this is kind of where the Wahine thing had evolved, and it's kind of exploded from there. Plant a seed, and you don't get a tree with us. Plant a seed, and you get a whole field. That's kind of how these things happen. So we've gone from there.
So what actually is the program, Britt?
So what we do is, well, it's kind of we're sort of transforming it every year as we see where we go. But the last year we took in 7 ladies, 7 wahine, and the concept was that no one really knew each other. You apply, and that last year's application forms just asked questions like, where are you from, age, what's your background, why do you want to do this, why do you want to come and join this group of people, what's your experience hunting and mountaineering, and all these sort of questions that help build a picture of the person and the personality. I then went through, we had 140 applications last year. So it was amazing.
That was the first year you've done it? You just put on the streets and you got 140 applicants?
Yeah. So there's
now, let me just, before, this is going to be a group trip into Fiordland, right? Are you covering like all the costs, the boats, that kind of stuff? People just have to show up with their gear and their food and all that kind of stuff?
Exactly. So we've got 3 main things people need, which is a pack, boots, and what was the third thing, Roy?
Insect repellent for sandflies.
Something like that.
I know it already.
No, you don't. You don't need that. You don't need that.
And the rest is just, we'll supply the rest. It was get yourself to Fiordland and back home, and we'll cover the rest. So means for accessibilities, it's easy to be able to enter and making sure that people can access it.
And I assume this is outside of the ballot?
Yes.
Okay, so it's just a specific, like, hey guys, we're setting up a 3-day, 4-day, whatever it is, specifically for women from all across New Zealand to come together and learn from each other, learn from, I'm assuming, Roy and others are there to teach if needed, experience Fiordland, fall in love with Fiordland, develop confidence, find new friends, find people that are of like-mindedness, right, Terry? Is that why I assume you're on here because you applied?
I am on here because I applied. My story is a different kind of way about it, I guess. I have been married before, and unfortunately he passed away. But he was the hunter person, and I'd just tag along on all his hunting trips everywhere, here, there, and everywhere. So,
Did you hunt with him?
I've never really been a hunter. I just love tagging along. I love going through the bush. I love seeing the animals. I love taking photos. So
you didn't have an issue of the animal getting shot or killed?
No, not at all. No.
Okay, so it wasn't like I hate hunting, I'm not going to hunt myself, I'm just going to tag. It was just like, that's just not for me.
It's just not for me, really. Like, yeah, I've always been a bit gun shy, I suppose, and just a bit like I can shoot and know a lot about it, but it's probably just not something I've ever particularly had a desire for, but I just love everything else about it. And I was lucky enough to have a husband and a group of friends that didn't mind me tagging along. Like, I was one of probably the very few women out there that actually had a bunch of guys that were pretty excited to have me tag along. Like, I think they were pretty impressed by some of the stuff that I'd go through. Like, I've been on the very high peaks of the west coast of New Zealand and in some crazy places. These guys never stuck to a trail. I was always bush bashing somewhere. It was ridiculous. My engagement came at the top of a waterfall high up on the west coast on a tar hunting trip. That's how I got engaged. So,
to your late husband.
Yeah. So I always joke, he's like, we'd been together a long time and he made me climb up what I call the waterfall of death. Like, it was just the most ridiculous thing I've ever done in my life. and I felt like one step either way and I was a goner. And it was at the top there is when he decided, after 9 years of being together, that was the moment he decided that we'd get engaged. So it was just ridiculous. But I think the thing is, when he passed, I kind of went into myself.
How long have you been married?
We had only been married about 8 years, but we had known and been together for over 20. Because he was a friend of a friend, but way before we got together, but then we're officially together for 16.
Friends with benefits.
Oh, no, just, yeah, at some point, yeah. Yeah, and then it turned into more, and then it turned into absolute love of my life. And, yeah, so when that happened, because he unfortunately took his own life, and, yeah, I sort of, for a long time, decided I didn't want to be out there. I don't want to either go in the bush or do anything ever again in my life. We actually had a holiday home here in Te Anau. I sold that because there was no way I was ever going to live here. I just didn't want any part of it. And then, I don't know, life just has a funny way of throwing you in the right direction, really. And I don't know if Roy knows this, but I actually seen him on one of our local programs, Country Calendar, first, is where I sort of got introduced to Roy. And he just really resonated with me. He reminded me a lot of my husband, just the same thought processes around the outdoors and hunting and how to live life. And yeah, so that was just a bit of a slow burn into it. And then I watched the Wapiti weekend. I went to the movies by myself and watched Against the Odds. And that really was where things started to kick in. And I was like, oh, actually, this is something
what started kicking in, Terry?
Just, I don't know how to describe it. It was just something really.
Did you miss the place? Did you miss those things that you loved so much?
Yeah, very much. And just finding something that I felt quite passionate about. Like, it was just I actually came out of it very emotional because I was like, wow, this is something I really want to get into. And at that stage, I just brought the business here as well. And I was having some second thoughts about that. Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right place? Is this what I should really be doing? But it just all started sinking in like, yeah, this is the right thing for me. And then when I seen that the applications come up for the Wahine Wapiti, I was like, yeah, I'm going to put my hand up for that. And I went there solely with the purpose of gaining confidence and challenging myself, because I think I needed that. I think I needed something where it was just I had to basically look after me, sort myself out, get myself there. I didn't have a backup person. Like, I wasn't tagging along anymore. I was literally in it for myself.
So you went to the Wapiti weekend. Britt, was the Wahine being advertised then at the Wapiti weekend, or this is after, right? This is way after?
I think it came afterwards. Yeah. It sort of came out on social media afterwards that she was putting this together, and yeah, it just really, yeah.
You said I want in.
Yeah, 100%. I want it. Yeah, and it was the best thing I've ever done.
The best thing you've ever done.
Yep. Ever. I can't even describe it. It's like, one, you get to meet all these women that are amazing. Like, I can't even tell you. Their life stories are phenomenal. Things that they've been through makes you just puts in perspective that everybody's got something going on or had something going on, and you don't feel so alone and you don't feel so down on yourself about certain things. You just, and just that fact of that confidence boost of being out there and doing it and knowing that I can do it. And I love the mental challenge. Like, I think it's very important to kind of challenge yourself mentally sometimes, just to remind yourself how strong you are, how resilient people can be, and just, and then I guess honestly and truthfully, it's probably the most healing thing I've ever done after my husband passed. Like, I've done a lot of therapy. I've had a lot of trauma and a lot of PTSD from that, and nothing has compared to that trip. And I can tell you, the moment it all changed, we got right to the top of, we sidled around a bit of a waterfall and got to this beautiful clearing, and it was just full of tussocks and hills. I've seen all that before, but I don't know, there's something pretty damn special about it. And it was like a light switch just turned on in me, and the world wasn't so dark anymore. And I kind of felt like I got my life back. I got myself back, got my personality back, confidence, everything. It was just, yeah, life changing.
Well, I can guarantee you that all the other women on that trip would say the very same thing about you. And I've not obviously heard your story. I read a little bit about it. I read a little bit of your application. I apologize, I asked for it.
That's
And
fine.
I think that everyone else would say that they are stronger because of you and because of your story and because of everything that you overcame because of this place.
Yep.
Britt,
Yep.
did you think you would have this kind of impact when you said, I just want to get a bunch of women together?
I actually didn't have any expectations, and the reason for that is I'm one person, Roy's one person. When you get a group of complete strangers together and you put them in a really special place, we know it's special, you don't know what's going to come of it. And that's the magic of it, is getting a group of amazing wahine together to share. And that's the point, is you don't know what's going to come out. You don't know each person's individual story. You don't know actually how much they've shared in their application. There's a saying it's what we call a whakatauki, which is a proverb in Te Reo Maori. He tō wahine, he kai mā te ahi, he maia wahine, he kai mā te whenua. And it translates to a woman of strength feeds the fire, a woman of courage feeds the land. And it speaks to two things, really. One is having that like physical strength and grit, in this context at least, to physically be able to be in a space like Fiordland. That's one part. And the other part is having that not only mental stamina, but the ability to sort of work with others in a team or be in a team, to trust other people, and this ability to be vulnerable and to let your walls down and then allow growth. And there's these two beautiful things working together that really only work if you're with the right people in the right environment, I guess. And that it really sums up what we've learnt can come out of something like this, and what we're excited to grow and enable other people to experience as well.
Terry, I bet you didn't expect it to be a therapy session.
No, not at all. Not at all. I didn't really know what to expect, if I'm truly honest.
Had you ever been into Fiordland before?
Not that deep into it, no. I've been in the little surrounds here and there, but not fully into it like that. Not so isolated in a way from everything. Yeah. I truly just went in there with my own, like, hoping to build some confidence, really, and hopefully be able to do stuff on my own. That's my ultimate goal, is to be able to build the confidence to go out there on my own and do stuff. And yeah, I didn't really expect it to change me the way that it did. But a lot of that came from like talking to Roy and Britt and all the other women that were there, like just their different life experiences and how they've handled things, and just really was just amazing.
Roy, what did you think was going to come from it?
I guess I've had a lifetime in Fiordland, and I get that every time I'm in Fiordland, and I've had a few challenges and lost a daughter and bits and pieces of my time, and you know, I look at every time I go into Fiordland, it basically it heals me in some way. You know, the place, I always look at it, the place doesn't give a stuff if you don't like it, or it's wet and it's scary, and if you fight it, it'll kick your bum and send you home in a worse condition. But if you go in there, and I look at the first night we stayed, if you go in there, and this was always my goal, to make sure everybody was in a safe place, and I always like people to be happy. If people aren't happy around me and enjoying it, I'm not enjoying it, so I'm always looking for some way to change that. So if you look at Fiordland, you go in there with the right attitude, and you know, lend your mind to the place and soul to the place, it does this to you. You know, I look at the first night when we camped, and I'm not sure if you guys, Brett or Terry, seen this or know this, but the first morning I had two ladies come up to me and said that I'm not tough enough to be in here. I think we need to go home. I can't carry my pack. I've got something wrong with me, and rah. And we sat down, we had a chat, and I said, well, let's get through today. And I carried some gear for them and bits and pieces, and they were right down, and they were heading for home. When we started out the next morning, and we climbed into the Henderson burn, and had a few chats on the way in, and all of a sudden we started having a bit of fun, and everybody opened up to each other, and next minute I had both of them come to me. They didn't know this, but they asked for their gear back to put on their packs, and they said, oh, this is fantastic. And their mind, what it was just pure mindset. They went from somewhere they'd never been before, uncomfortable, you know, camping in a wee wet tent and stuff like that, in a big scary place, and then, you know, they kind of lent themselves to Fiordland, really, opened up, and all of a sudden, man, they had the trip of their lifetime. And we actually had one spoke to this year's lot the other day, and she talked about her journey, and how it had changed her as well. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, I see that in Fiordland every time I go in there, but it's I've had a lot of people in my lifetime who's never gone back either. So you just gotta, if you can get that low addiction into people, it can change them for real.
No, it's yeah. No, I've had the fortunate experience to see it. We weren't tested as mentally as Fiordland could have tested us. We did a little bit, but it is an impressive area. Terry, you obviously had a life-changing experience. How many other ladies were with you? And I'm assuming you all sort of lent on each other and sort of acknowledged what this was. How many other people came out just like you?
I think everybody in their own way. I think, yeah, all of us across the board just came out with a different outlook on life and different way of seeing things. And I think just honestly, mentally stronger. Yeah, there's probably one girl there that I just think she is probably a force of nature right now. Like, just, yeah, she came in with a whole lot of passion. And then I think she was a bit taken back by what it was going in there. But by the end of it, like, yeah, I think her life has been changed forever. And yeah, but I think for everybody everybody had their own reasons to be there. And I think we all came out just that bit stronger and a bit more healed.
How long were you in Fiordland for, Terry?
Oh, 5 days, was it? Can't even remember. I think it was 5.
And Roy, did you put them on like was it a roundabout trip? Like we're going this way up, camp, and then back to the...
started.
Oh, he got you lost?
The hardest way possible. On the way in, it was like the hardest thing. And then on the way out, he showed us the easy way. It's like...
Oh, too funny. Too funny, too funny. Britt, you were on this journey?
No, we went. Sorry?
I said, go ahead, Roy. Go ahead. Tell us what the route.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, we climbed up to one of the most famous head basins in Fiordland, the Henderson Burn. Really funny experience. So there's a big bull in the Henderson Burn that I've heard more stories from hunters who have seen it and haven't got it over the years than any other bull just about my lifetime. And we get up there, and you imagine all the chat that was going on when we're putting the camp up and so forth. And we were sitting there in the big clearing, and I was probably sitting in the corner rocking myself, trying to get over the pain that I was being given by these girls. But we're sitting there, and somebody goes, "Oh, there's a deer over there." And look across, and it wasn't just any old deer. It was this blimmin' legend Wapiti bull that people have been trying to shoot for years, about 800 metres away, and we could have got on the shooting difference, but we weren't doing that. So that was kind of the deer tone for the trip. You know, you go in there as a hunter, we had these things that are just blimmin' there walking up to us. So there was something that happens a little bit different than it normally would when you're in there. We saw several there. Yeah.
Amazing. Britt, you accompanied them on this first trip in, right?
Yes, yeah.
Again, maybe I've asked this question, but I'll ask you in a different way. I've asked you, like, in building the program, what did you expect? What did you expect going into it? Did you bring in baggage yourself?
It's a really interesting question. I was actually reflecting on this while the others were answering. I think I went in with a bit of a different lens because I was going in as sort of a kaitiaki or a guardian, as sorts of making sure that everyone was okay as well. So it wasn't like I was going in going in for myself. I was going in for everyone else at the same time. So I kind of hung at the back of the group, and what I did love and enjoy, and it actually happened in the first sort of 20 minutes as we were walking in, as we set off, was the boat ride over was very quiet. Everyone's nervous, I guess, not sure what to expect. And within that half an hour of getting on shore, putting our packs on and setting off, everyone was talking to each other, and I could just hear chatter. And they were like, it was straight into the deep stuff. It wasn't, what do you do? Where do you live? It was life story stuff. And I just listened a lot of the time and made sure that everyone was comfortable. But that was a really special moment for me, was hearing that come out so quickly. And it was like, as Terry said, a bit of a switch for people. We're here now. It was like all their walls just got let down. And I think that was pretty special for me. I also had the intention of going in and experiencing it so I could go back and hunting at some point. So I think going in and just actually being in there and feeling the terrain and understanding that side of it, I'm so glad I did, because I went in for 10 days later. I got a ballot in April, and nothing could have prepared me for it than actually just going in and experiencing it. As a side to that as well, it actually made me want to get into a bit of guiding and doing more of that side of it. So that's come out of it for me, and now I'm guiding a group this coming Wahine Wapiti trip. So it's just building on all of my knowledge, which I just wouldn't have been exposed to otherwise. So I'm pretty grateful for it. Yeah.
Did you get anything in the ballot?
No. We had the.
Did you not go back to the same head basin that you saw the big deer in and freaking kill him?
Unfortunately, we drew the ballot way away from there.
Oh, that's right. You can't swap the areas. That's right.
Yeah. So, but it rained on us for 10 days. And we were pretty much tent bound. Didn't get a chance to get up on the tops, but we were there for the experience. We saw a cow and a young bull, so we were in there to enjoy it and to see some animals, and we did that, so it's just as great. Yeah.
So now that everyone's listened to this, let's talk about what comes next. Wahine, sorry, I messed that up again. Wahine.
That's great.
Number 2, right, is this year.
Yeah.
And where are we? Is applications open? Like what's going on? Give me all the details. 2025 Wahine.
Yeah, cool. So we were like, cool, we took in 7 wahine. Everyone enjoyed it. Well, type 2 fun. Everyone enjoyed it afterwards. Let's see how many more people we can get in at one time. So we've opted to take 6 teams of 5 wahine and one guide per team. So we've got 30.
What did you do last year?
7 wahine, 1 guide.
So you have expanded the program times 4.
Yep. So
how many applications have you received?
We had just over 100.
Okay.
This year we focused on teams. So teams applications have closed. Teams could apply as well as individuals, and it was a case of this time submit an application form and a video of your team or you as a person, and that way it gave us a bit of it gave people a bit of creative license to do as they wanted with that. So see a bit.
Why did you decide to do teams? Because obviously, and I'd love to hear Terry's thoughts here, and I want her to be honest. I would have thought that the success of last year was the fact that nobody knew anybody.
Mm.
So why would you accept the team if everyone knows each other already?
Yeah, so that is a factor for sure. So we've got the maximum team members you could have was 4. So I'm adding at least 1 additional random person into each group. So then some teams or some groups are actually made up of individuals or teams of 2. So you could apply as any number of team, if that makes sense. And then we add to the groups from there. It made the selection process a bit easier, if I'm honest, but also it enables people to sort of apply with the people they do know are into this kind of thing. And then we get to mix it up with people who are new to this kind of thing. So it's still getting the same, concept across where people can mix and mingle. The other beneficial thing we're doing this year from that perspective is we're having a prize giving or a dinner at the end. So a time where everyone can come together and sit down, mix and mingle on a different level, talk about their experiences. And the task for this year, every team has been set with a photography competition. So there are 5 different categories, be it just at random, the big 3, which is the Kia, Fio, and Wapiti, best nature photo, best team photo, those sorts of categories. And we're having a big prize giving at the end. So it's just an opportunity, again, to help that mixing and mingling with such a large...
I thought when you said the big 3, I thought it was going to be Roy, Adam, and Joe.
Yeah. The two of them are too scared to go in, Robbie.
Too funny. Yeah, I'll be... Yeah, Roy's on a time lag. We're waiting for you. Go ahead, Roy.
What was the question?
What you were responding to with Adam and Joe and you being the big 3.
Adam and Joe are too scared to go, and I've just got 2 brand new knees 3 weeks ago.
Oh, so you're winning. You're ready to roll.
Oh, we'll be in a few months. But the other thing is we've got a trophy. Did you see in the photo I've sent to you? You might have seen it at the Seeker show. So the winning team is going for the trophy. It's not about a competition. It's about having fun, and we're not too sure how we're going to sort out the winners yet, but we're working on that. And the winning group each year will get that trophy each year. So it stays on Te Anau, but they'll be presented with it and photographed and sent on the way as the winners in some way. We're just doing the final details at the moment, but we're pretty much there.
Yeah, I number one, we're having this conversation because I love the idea. I don't want you to forget. I've just learned about it, and I've just heard Terry's story, and that the fact that it was multiplied by 6 out in Fiordland. Don't leave your strength like that. This thing, it seems to be like that's it, like the opportunity, and for people to not grieve's not the right way, but connect and become who they want to be through the outdoors, through this place. Okay. I almost think and again, I'm not in charge of this, and this is me just hearing it for the first time, but have everyone together to start with. Let them all meet, and then everyone disappears, and then when everyone comes back together, have the opportunity where someone says, does anybody want to say what just happened to them over the last 5 days? And I guarantee you, one person stands up, going to say something powerful like Terry. The whole room's going to crack, and then the next one, the next one, the next one, and it's going to be almost like this freaking crescendo of like the individual. And I'm getting goosebumps talking about the 7 people or 6 people that were together, like amplified by 5. No, I'm not the director. You're the director, Britt. I'm just saying.
No, yeah.
I think it just opens it up to a different bunch of people, though. Like this, doing it in groups is actually, I still think it's a great idea. I just think it opens it up to those ones that they already love the outdoors. They just want a bit of a challenge. They want to see Fiordland. They're not comfortable doing it on their own. I don't know. I just think it's great in its own way, because there is a select group of women that they don't necessarily want to go out there and be healed, but they want to go out there and experience it, and they want to go out there and see these things that they just would never see otherwise, because they don't live close, they don't have the money, they're too afraid to go out there on their own. Like, it's just, yeah, I just think it's brilliant either way. And I think those connections will be made. It'll just look a bit different to how ours was done. But it's going to give you all the same things. It's going to give you that like-mindedness. Because for me, it was like also a realization like, oh, I'm not weird. Because out of all my female friends outside of this environment, I'm the only outdoorsy, huntery type. Everybody else they're like, oh, no, couldn't pay me enough to camp in the bush. Whereas I'm like, yeah, I'll spend a lifetime out there. I don't care. So it's just, it gives you that comfort knowing that you're not weird.
What will happen, and this won't change. Fiordland will blindside those people in different ways. So, you got people who are, they know each other, but a lot of those people only know each other. They've gathered up each other
is like,
to get an application, and it will blindside them in different ways. That's what it does.
Go ahead, Britt.
Sorry. Just on that, still being able to curate who does come in. It's about selecting people, a mixture of people who, in particular, one example, there's one lady in her team who is the outdoor person, and the rest of the people in her group aren't, and she's wanting to share what knowledge she has of that life, or of that part of New Zealand with, it's actually people she works with in her cafe, and sharing that with them, and they're from Auckland, and so she's the connector within that one group, and then we're enabling that group to come in and share.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool, because when I first heard about it, again, I didn't mean to I wear my heart on my sleeve, so you know what I'm thinking when I say it myself. So I thought it was like, 4 buddies that know each other for 25 years. Let's go have a good time in the backcountry. And that, though, what you just said is amazing.
So it's often like someone knows a group of people who might be interested but wouldn't otherwise think or be able to access it. So they get to curate that group, and it just makes that process a bit easier. Knowing they do know each other, there's an element of comfort there as well. But as Royce said, everyone will get blindsided no matter how experienced you are or not.
No, 100%. Terry, you going to be a part of it?
I wish. No, I left it open for other people to experience this time.
No, I mean, are you going to go like with, you're an alumni now, so, the original alumni. So would you go to the get-together that Britt will host? I assume it's going to be in Te Anau.
Yeah. I hope I get an invite.
Yeah, I don't know.
100% Gary. VIP.
Yeah, VIP, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask this question because obviously
Oh,
you guys. Go ahead, Roy.
No, I was just going to say also, Terry, you've signed up with some of our conservation projects too, haven't you? Yeah. As
I
well.
actually did
So,
one yesterday. I went and set some traps yesterday. Got to learn how to reset traps yesterday. It was freaking amazing. It was great. Yeah.
Which valley
Bloody.
did you do the traps in?
We went up the Castle River, so up the Worsley, I think, is it?
the Worsley,
I
yep.
get lost.
Castle.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're right on the top there, and it's a hard slog. It's work. It's not a luxury day out, I can tell you. It's still like bloody climbing tree roots and boulder hopping and falling down every hole I could find, but that's okay. We did our job when we got there.
Did you get
It was
anything?
awesome. Pardon?
Did you catch anything?
Not much. There was 2 rats in the first trap, and then everything after that was just resetting, really. But got to see some Kia, got to see some deer, got to see some Theo. Yeah, it was good. Good day out.
Amazing.
I jump on any chance to go in the bush. I also got, I was in the right place at the right time at the start of the year. I got to go on a all-female Wapiti block as well at the start of the year, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, went over to the Cat's Eye, but like Britt, we were in the 4th period and the weather was just everything that Fiordland could chuck at you. It chucked at us. Like, it was unbelievable. Never experienced anything like it in my life. Like, it was crazy.
Snow for us.
Yeah, we had snow, hail, thunderstorms, wind, and because we're on a tidal block as well, so you had to wait on the tides to come and go, depending on what you're doing. But yeah,
it's a tough part of the world.
Yeah, but yeah, I jump on any chance to go. Someone's offering it, I'm going.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I'm all about the Wapiti Foundation. Like, honestly, I just think they do the most amazing job in the world, and I think if people in the world could recognise that and take it on board, it would be changing for so many environments. Like, it would just be, people have got to learn that you can look after the environment and hunt very well together. Like, they work very well together if it's done right. And yeah, I'm sort of just slowly getting my hand in the game and putting my hand up to help out wherever I can. So yeah.
All because of the opportunity given to you.
Yep, 100%. Yep.
Britt, as I'm not going to say Roy is the de facto leader of this program, you being the de facto leader of this program, this obviously doesn't come at no cost. It has costs associated with it. Are you guys looking for people to come on board to help, to fund, to sponsor, to partner with you guys in this effort?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a range of sponsorship or partnership opportunities. And we've got, we do need financial assistance as well as gear. There's gear opportunities there as well. And it could come in a range of forms, but Roy, you might be able to speak to that a bit more.
Yeah. So, you got 36 people getting into Fiordland. We're doing the food, everything. We do the whole lot. So from our perspective, from the foundation, we would like somebody to come on board and actually be a long-term sponsorship how this evolves, because it will evolve and will change. And we have different groups who sponsor different things for us, but we just see it as something very unique in New Zealand that's happening. And so we're after a sponsor, and certainly we have that. If people go to our webpage, there's information on there, and we'll certainly have stuff up on our Facebook as well. So we've kind of had to go to, I guess, bootlegging. Is that what it's called in America? Doing your
bootstrapping.
No, bootlegging, brewing your own alcohol and selling it.
You're bootlegging. That's right. I thought you said bootstrapping, like you've been pinching pennies.
Right, so what we've done Britt's up in the North Island, well away from us, so we don't get in trouble. So she's brewing gin, and she is. We've got some bottles of gin that are coming out with what we're calling it, Brett. Cow Valley Gin.
Cow Valley Gin.
Yeah.
You're brewing this in your garage, Britt.
Something like that. It's all legal.
Okay, that's all we need to know.
Yeah, Copperhead Road. So, so that'd be on their website too. So everything that all the money we make from that goes towards the trip as well. So so go to our website is what I'm saying, or jump on Facebook, and there is opportunities there for people to be involved.
Roy, what are we talking about? Like, if somebody's listening to this and like, oh, we want to get involved, or we've got a, potential. What is the dollar amount that would cover the Wahine program on an annual basis?
Yeah. So somebody wanted to be involved and become just a one-off full sponsor. It's $20,000 annually. So, and again with that, we will offer some packages around all our stuff we do with Fiordland Wapiti Foundation. They'll be involved as the Wahine. We've got to remind everybody that this is a Fiordland Wapiti Foundation. This is a project, another project that we're doing. So, anybody who's involved with the Wahine is involved with the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation wider project as well. So, money comes from somewhere. So, so $20K a year.
Okay.
And there's some good opportunities around that to be involved in more ways than one.
Perfect. Well, Britt, Terry, firstly, Terry, thank you. We tend to have this thing about Blood Origins that's just people that don't know us, random, that we tend to open their hearts, and people are willing to open their hearts with us. So I'm very thankful and grateful and humbled that you were willing to do that here. Britt, well done for just having to deal with Roy every day, number one. I feel your pain. Number two, I love the program. I think it's great. I think it's something that's happening all over the world, and I think that I haven't heard any other female-specific programs. Not that there probably are some more in New Zealand, but the couching it, putting it in Fiordland, and what Fiordland does to people mentally, physically, as we heard from you, Terry, I think is a great piece, and I'm glad that you guys have expanded it already tremendously in year two. So, is there anything else we can do for you? Please let us know. I've got one person partnership rattling around in the back of my brain, and as soon as I get off here, I'll be texting. So who knows?
Thank you.
Do I have one thing, Robbie?
Only one, Roy. Only one.
Yep. So Terry, you must have felt quite suspicious when I took you up that big waterfall. The last time you went up a big waterfall like that, you end up getting married.
Oh no. No. It's hard to tell, Roy. It's hard to tell what you're thinking. So I didn't think much of it.
No, brilliant. Thanks, Terry. That's brilliant. And Brett, that's great. And Robbie, brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks, you.
Thank you, guys. Much appreciated.
Thanks for the opportunity, Robbie. Thanks again.
Thank you.